Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Monday, February 16th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. A powerful storm system is taking aim at California, with radar this morning showing a robust band of heavy rain and embedded thunderstorms steadily expanding from west to east across the state. We have been talking about this storm sequence for many days now, and it is finally here and set to bring us major weather impacts this week. Essentially what we have is just a relentless and extreme Pacific troughing pattern, which is going to drop at least 3 distinct storm systems through the region from today through Thursday, though the gaps in between systems will be so limited that it's almost better to think of it as one long-duration storm as opposed to several individual storms. As these storms move through, periods of rain, heavy at times, along with embedded thunderstorms, will move through the region today through Thursday. With tremendous amounts of instability, lift, and wind shear present, some thunderstorms may be severe this week, with potential for damaging winds, hail, and even isolated weak tornadoes. This is not unheard of for California this time of year, but it is definitely an unusually potent setup for severe weather across the region. While the severe weather threat is a bit of a novelty, the bigger story will be the rainfall, and there will be a lot of it. Most foothill and mountain locations will receive between 4 and 8 inches of rainfall, and most coast and valley locations will receive 2 to 4 inches of rainfall through Thursday. Higher liquid equivalent totals are likely in some mountain areas, especially across the Sierra, where some isolated 10 to 15 inch liquid equivalent amounts are likely. Flooding is definitely a concern, particularly across burn scar areas, where rainfall rates of a ½ inch to an inch per hour are possible on multiple different occasions over the next several days. Urban flooding will also be a concern, and larger river flooding is also a possibility, but that may be tempered by the fact that much of the higher elevation precipitation will fall as snow, and therefore not available for runoff. And speaking of snow, that is the other big story this week. Across central California, the snow level will start around 6,000 feet this morning and then drop to between 3,000 and 4,000 feet this evening through Thursday. For Southern California, you'll want to add at least 1,000 feet or so to those numbers, if not a little more. But with the low snow levels and exceptional amounts of moisture, prolific and almost unbelievable snowfall totals are expected across the Sierra this week, with snowfall of 8 to 15 feet common above 6,000 feet through Thursday, gradually tapering off to lower amounts as you head down towards 3,000 or 4,000 feet, though amounts will still be significant. And while amounts won't match what will be happening across the Sierra, very heavy snow is also expected across the Southern California mountains this week, especially above 7,000 feet, but with decent accumulations down to 4,000 or 5,000 feet as well. Snowfall impacts are likely on the Grapevine at times this week, and possibly even the Cajon Pass by Wednesday or Thursday, though that would likely be less significant. These energetic storms will bring significant wind impacts as well. As the individual storms roll through, periods of south to west winds of 20 to 40 miles per hour with gusts to 60 miles per hour and locally stronger will surface across the mountain ridges and desert passes today through Thursday. All other areas, even less wind-prone areas, will see occasional south to west winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts to 40 miles per hour, just ahead of and with each passing storm. Significant cooling will occur this week. Valley highs will drop into the 50s to low 60s through Tuesday, then into the mid-40s to mid-50s by Wednesday and Thursday. Highs in the lower mountains will drop into the 30s to low 40s. These are the forecast highs by Thursday. And there are signs that the stormy pattern may be far from over. At least some modest warming and drying is likely from Friday through Sunday, though it is not yet clear whether or not this will be a completely dry period, but maybe at least a chance to catch our breaths. However, additional storminess, which may again be significant, is strongly favored by early next week and possibly extending through much of next week. So we have hit a total and complete flip from the warm and dry pattern that started this year, as we now transition into one of the stormiest patterns in recent memory for the state. There will of course be little or no fire activity across the region through the forecast period and well beyond. However, resource demand may still be quite heavy this week. Significant storm damage impacts are likely this week, with primary impacts likely to be scattered power outages due to wind damage and significant travel disruptions due to rain and snow impacts. All in all, this is definitely a week to be weather aware and just to respect the fact that while we certainly love to see all this precipitation, this weather comes with inherent dangers that can make themselves known very quickly in these sorts of rapidly evolving conditions. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, February 18th.